हमारी ना एक टेंडेंसी होती है कि अरे नहीं नहीं नहीं, इट्स ओके, इतना तो मैं कर ही सकती हूँ, इतना तो मुझे जमना ही चाहिए, why am I not able to do it, इतना तो मुझसे होना ही चाहिए. And that is itself a big problem, because we start with a must have and a should be, which is like नहीं, ऐसा होना ही चाहिए, इतना पढ़ाई तो मैं कर ही सकती हूँ, अगर मेरे साथ के लोग इतना कर रहे हैं तो मैं इतना कर ही सकती हूँ. First, let's break that. Let's try to be honest with ourselves and let's try to understand that okay, मेरा कैपेसिटी है कि मैं एक टाइम पे 45 मिनट्स पढ़ाई करने बैठ सकती हूँ. इट्स ओके दैट देयर इज माय फ्रेंड पूजा कैन सिट फॉर 1.5 hours and she can do well, good for her. But if I know my capacity is 45 minutes, let me divide my particular workload, let me divide my process of examination study into chunks of sustainable loads. When you look at the mountain, right? The mountain is too big, but it is only if you learn how to divide it into small chunks, then it becomes comprehensible. अगर आप नेट के सिलेबस के पास देखोगे ना, तो it can be very overwhelming. It is like यार उसमें सब कुछ कवर होता है. एंड इस मोह माया में रहना मत कि जो वहां पे लिखा हुआ है सिर्फ वो आता है. ये लोग बड़े शार्प है, बड़े शातिर है, जो नहीं लिखा हुआ है वो भी आता है. तो वेरी इंटरेस्टिंगली दे विल जस्ट राइट साइकोथेरेपीज and then they will ask you about object relations therapy, जिसका नाम आधे लोगों ने सुना हुआ नहीं रहता है. Okay, they will very nicely mention in one particular pointer 4 different subjects of psychology, and if you are in the notion कि that is it, उनको उतना ही importance है, that's not the case. Each and every subject mentioned in that one pointer has its own importance, and that is why, because the complete process is overwhelming, the first step that we do is take a deep breath. So let's do it together. Let's take a deep breath together. Now let's go into it. Now let's try to understand how this exam works, what are they expecting from us, and how do we prepare for it. Let's go. Okay, so what exactly are these exams about? सबसे basic सवाल पूछने वाली हूँ मैं. People, you can just raise your hand or you can answer in the chat box, whatever you prefer. Can someone tell me NET-JRF का purpose क्या है? Why do you give the exams of NET, SET और JRF? क्यों देना है? और ये तीनों अलग अलग एग्जाम्स है, तीनों सेम एग्जाम है, ये सब लोचा क्या है? Can somebody tell me why do you give NET? Why do you give JRF? Why do you give SET? Okay, bolo Sindhuja.
I think after giving NET, so JRF is for PhD, whoever want to do research. So clearing NET, we can go for assistant professor, lectureship, or yeah, that is the purpose, I guess.
Okay, so first of all, I hope everyone will make a note of this. See, my classes are quite interactive and fun. It's absolutely okay to give wrong answers, okay? Justified, duly noted, but give answers. That is the best way to learn, okay? So no question is silly at all. Whatever comes to you, just ask or write in the chat box. Okay, cool. So yes, NET we give if you want to practice as an assistant professor. You give JRF ke liye, if you want the junior research fellowship to do PhD. Now, the most important question, because I've been asked this, even if it sounds silly, are NET and JRF exams different? No, they are not. NET and JRF के लिए एग्जाम सेम होती है, कट ऑफ डिफरेंट होता है. टू गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल, अगर किसी ने नोटिस किया होगा तो अभी कट ऑफ निकला है, कल ही नए नेट JRF का कट ऑफ निकला है. एंड फॉर एनी एग्जाम, वो इस बार की हो अगली बार की हो, द कट ऑफ फॉर JRF विल ऑलवेज बी बिटवीन 64 to 69%, percent. And the cutoff will always be 10% lesser for only UGC NET. So what do we mean by this? कि UGC NET आप बार बार देके नेट क्रैक कर सकते हो, बट आपको अगर JRF क्रैक करना है तो आपको एक सर्टन अमाउंट ऑफ परसेंटेज लाना पड़ेगा, स्कोर लाना पड़ेगा. Now, yes, so somebody has mentioned the exact numbers for this particular year. So the point we are trying to make here is कि जो भी कट ऑफ है उस हिसाब से हमारा एस्टिमेट लगना चाहिए. द कट ऑफ विल कीप ऑन चेंजिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू डिफिकल्टी लेवल. देयर हैव बीन सम इयर्स वेयर द कट ऑफ हैज गॉन एज लो एज 62% बिकॉज द डिफिकल्टी लेवल वाज हाई. इस बार का कट ऑफ बहुत हाई है बिकॉज द डिफिकल्टी लेवल वाज comparatively low. Not belittling anybody's efforts who have given exams this time, but comparatively it was easier. So now let's be very clear कि ये एग्जाम किस चीज के लिए है. अगर ये एग्जाम असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसरशिप के लिए है या पीएचडी के लिए है, mind you, junior research fellowship is when the government is paying you to do research. You're not supposed to be working in that particular time zone. You are getting stipend or you're getting money from the government to do research, which in itself is a big thing. So the JRF fellowship, it ranges between 35K. Okay, it starts from 35K. And as your years of experience go on in the JRF, you go to SRF, that is Senior Research Fellowship. Unfortunately, because in India, psychology is not counted in science fields. That is why it is 35K. Varna baki science fields ka dekhoge, to it starts minimum from 50K and onwards. Okay. So that is what NET and JRF are about. One is for assistant professorship. One is for PhD. SET or any state level eligibility test is going to make sure that you are eligible to work as an assistant professor in that particular state. NET is going to make sure कि आप country में कहीं भी काम कर सकते हो, and SET, for example, will give you the eligibility to work in Maharashtra. Okay, तो दोनों एग्जाम्स का पैटर्न थोड़ा अलग अलग है, बट अगर आप नेट की पढ़ाई कर रहे हो तो आप कोई भी आपके स्टेट की एग्जाम पास कर सकते हो. Okay, and if you ask me, should we prefer SET or should we prefer NET? Let me just break that bubble. Unfortunately, it is not in your hands कि तुम्हारा सिलेक्शन होगा या नहीं. Okay, तो हमको ये बड़ा लगता है कि अरे मैं चूज करूंगी सेट देना या मैं चूज करूंगी नेट देना तो मेरा हो जाएगा. स्टडी फॉर बोथ एंड देन गो फॉर इट. जहां पे भी भगवान ने चाहा कि आपके एफर्ट्स पर उनका तिलक लग जाए, तिलक लग जाएगा. Okay, let's go ahead for that. What is the selection procedure? So basics हम cover कर रहे हैं पहले तो, then we will also cover up the actual aspects of study and everything. So selection procedure क्या है? There are two papers. There is paper 1 and paper 2. Okay, paper 1 is your basic general studies. इसमें जनरल में हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हमारा अगर 7th स्टैंडर्ड में स्कॉलरशिप का पेपर दिया होगा, ओके, सो स्कॉलरशिप के पेपर में कैसे अब्स्ट्रैक्ट, लॉजिकल रीजनिंग, इन टाइप के सवाल आते हैं. सो वो टाइप के सवाल, तुम्हारा बेसिक रिसर्च एप्टीट्यूड, तुम्हारा बेसिक टीचिंग, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, बेसिक नॉलेज ऑफ आईटी. सो इंडिया में ये एक्सपेक्टेशन है दैट एज अ टीचर you would be a person who is knowledgeable, who is aware and a guru irrespective of your selected field. तो तुम साइकोलॉजी के हो इसलिए तुमको पॉलिटी के बारे में कुछ पता नहीं है, ये नहीं चलेगा. Okay, the general studies or the paper 1 expects you to be a teacher who knows basics about the polity of the country, about the environment of the country, about what are the teaching skills, what are the research aptitude, what is the communication skills, about the Indian history of logic, okay, and so much more. Abhi, something important for your papers to be considered. मैं अभी पासिंग की बात नहीं कर रही हूँ. पास का कट ऑफ हर साल निकलता है. सो ये परसेंटाइल और परसेंटाइल रैंक का कंसेप्ट है जो आई होप स्टैटिस्टिक्स में आपका क्लियर हुआ है. नहीं हुआ होगा तो यू नीड टू लर्न दैट. आई विल नॉट बी गोइंग इनटू दैट, बट द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज कि आपका पेपर एलिजिबल कंसिडर होने के लिए आपका पेपर 1 प्लस पेपर 2 मिला के 40% का स्कोर होना चाहिए. So if the total is 300, what this is telling us is कि 300 में से at least 40% अगर दोनों का combination करके हो गया तो ही आपका पेपर कंसिडर किया जाएगा कट ऑफ के इसमें कि अच्छा इस पर्सन को नेट देना है या नहीं. Is that making sense? Okay, I hope it is. If not, please ask questions. If anybody has questions here, बोलो सिंधुजा.
Ma'am, net में मतलब we are giving the paper no for first paper and
Yes.
second paper. Net में net consists of these two papers. So let's say I'm
Yes.
strong in second paper and not so in the first. तो चलेगा मतलब दोनों को मिला के 40% लाना. Is it like that or?
Oh. Yeah, so luckily for you, when I was giving this exam, it was separately 40% for both of them, which was a tedious task. But luckily now it is combined 40%. But I'm also going to just point it out that there are some students present here who have faced this कि paper 1 weak है, paper 2 कितना भी strong हो जाए, बट यार दोनों पे उतना एफर्ट डालना ही पड़ता है, बिकॉज इफ यू एक्चुअली वांट टू क्रैक जेआरएफ, नेट तक पेपर 2 स्ट्रांग है, पेपर 1 ठीक ठाक है, चल जाएगा, बट जेआरएफ के लिए दोनों पेपर्स आपके बहुत स्ट्रांग लगेंगे. ओके ओके, यस शशिन, यू हैड अ क्वेश्चन.
Yeah, actually you answered that question. Atas answered this.
Okay, cool. So any questions still here guys? किसी को भी कुछ समझ में नहीं आया? As I said, no doubt is silly. So कुछ भी आए दिमाग में, simple चीजें. अगर किसी
मैम
yes
एक्सक्यूज मी,
बोलो.
सॉरी आई वाज ड्राइविंग, तो मुझे थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन हो गया. तो अकॉर्डिंग टू यू वी विल हैव टू फर्स्ट क्रैक द नेट, मतलब उसका कट ऑफ क्लियर करने के बाद ओनली वी आर एलिजिबल फॉर, राइट?
अरे इट्स सिंपल मैथमेटिक्स प्रतीक. अगर आप फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपका कट ऑफ, आपका परसेंटेज 64% है और आपने अगर जेआरएफ क्रैक किया है, तो अपने आप अपने असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसरशिप का 54% का वैसे भी क्रॉस किया, तो आपने वो कर ही दिया. इट्स मैथमेटिक्स, नथिंग.
ओके, समझ गया.
बट इफ इट इज लाइक कि आपका 63% है एंड यू जस्ट मिस्ड आउट द जेआरएफ का कट ऑफ, तो इवन इफ यू हैव नॉट पास्ड द जेआरएफ, you have still passed the cutoff for the
UGC
assessment.
net.
Yes, and I always tell everyone this. Please remember, just because you have self doubt कि मैं ये cross, मैं ये कर पाऊंगा या पाऊंगी या नहीं, do not just select only assistant professorship when you are filling the form. Always select both. Okay, always select both. Okay, let's go ahead. Isha, what's your question?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I had one question. Like, means if now anyone wants to decide that whether that person needs to give NET-JRF or not, so like, how to decide it? Like, we should give it or we should not give it?
Thank you for this question. A very important question. Let's talk about why you should give NET-JRF. 2 points obvious है कि आपको टीचिंग करना है, and second point आपको रिसर्च करना है. But there is something much more important here. आप जब नेट क्रैक कर रहे हो, आप पहले 6% में आते हो. Okay, you are a part of the first 6% people who have given the exam. And अगर आपने JRF क्रैक किया है, even if you do not want to do PhD, you are again the 6% of the 6%. You are the part of the cream layer in the field in this particular country. So you need to understand कि NET-JRF is another criteria, okay, for assessing you. Simply put, मेरे सामने 2 कैंडिडेट्स है, दोनों के मैं रेज्यूमे देख रही हूँ, ओके, और एक ने अगर नेट क्रैक किया हुआ है, एक ने नेट जेआरएफ क्रैक किया हुआ है, तो नेट जेआरएफ वाले को प्रेफरेंस मिलेगा. एक ने कुछ भी क्रैक नहीं किया हुआ है और एक ने नेट क्रैक किया है, एंड अज्यूमिंग दोनों का टीचिंग बहुत अच्छा है, अज्यूमिंग दिस वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, ओके, then the person who has cracked net will get a preference. Okay, so that is another perspective, and that is another reason you should think about NET-JRF. And the fourth and the very important one, which is a very practical reason, हमारा फील्ड ऐसा है ना कि आप बस एक चीज करोगे लाइफ में तो खर्चा पानी निकलना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है. Okay, you will have to be doing a lot of things to build your network, to make sure that you can sustain. Even if you want to start your own practice, how do you go for it? You have to build your own network, right? How do you build your network? So for that, you have to have another option कि अच्छा मैं कॉलेज में सिखा रही हूँ, वहां से स्टूडेंट्स मिल रहे हैं, वहां से रेफरेंसेस मिल रहे हैं. So having that option open for you कि लाइफ में अगर कभी मुझे इस पर आना पड़ा for XYZ reasons, then it is always beneficial. So I hope I answered your question, Isha. Going ahead, Lavixia, first of all, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And what is your question?
Yeah, hello, ma'am. It's Lavicha.
Lavicha, sorry for that. Yes, bolo.
So I wanted to know, is JRF important to go for PhD, or can a person go for PhD without clearing JRF?
You can go for PhD without JRF, but JRF होगा तो आपको बहुत जगह पे सीट्स आपके लिए होती है. So to give you an example, निम्हांस में आप PhD के लिए जाओगे तो JRF के लिए सीट्स अलग से रिजर्व्ड होती है. Okay, so you can directly go and give your interview. आप क्राइस्ट में जाओगे, कहीं भी जाओगे तो आपके पास अगर JRF है, देखो सिंपल प्रैक्टिकल बात है, उनको आपको स्टाइपेंड नहीं पे करना पड़ रहा है बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट आपको स्टाइपेंड पे कर रही है. Okay, so they will prefer a candidate like that. Okay, anywhere you go. So it's not like you cannot do a PhD without JRF. Okay, you can and if you have good stellar experience, yes, but your reason to go for JRF should not just be PhD. It also should come to this point that it is something to be proud about, that you are a part of the creamiest people in this country, and that gives you a boost of confidence, which which will always help you in your career, and nothing beats that, honestly. Okay, so I hope I answered your question.
Okay, then I have one more question. For example, if one student candidate clears NET, then the candidate can go and attempt NET like in the same year. Is that possible?
Yeah, you can give NET as many times as you want. I have given NET thrice, because first time I lost my JRF like by 1 mark, and then I gave the second attempt and the third attempt, and in third attempt I cracked my JRF. So yeah, you can give it any time. Okay.
Ma'am, normally I want to know is if one person is selecting the form, the candidate selects NET and JRF both, and the person is unable to clear JRF and clears NET. So in the second attempt, can the person like attempt again and try to clear JRF?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
at least for right now it is possible. Sorry guys, I will take up all the questions. Okay, अब ना थोड़ा सा लगाम रखो सवालों पे. I will take them up again after a while. Let me cover up more content. Definitely going to solve all your questions. So what are they expecting from the candidate? They are expecting that the candidate, as I said, is well aware. When we come to paper 1, they are expecting that you don't just know your particular subject, that you can be a teacher, because in India, the definition of teacher is not just limited to knowing what you're supposed to teach. It is supposed to be a guru, right? So they focus on that. And the second one, the very important question, कि आपको आपके फील्ड में गुड होना है. अब ये बहुत जनरल इंफॉर्मेशन हो गई. लेट्स गो इनटू द डिटेल्स ऑफ इट कि एग्जाम पेपर में क्या एक्सपेक्टेड है. Okay, 2 things. Agar if you had to sum up your entire studies, it would be in 2 concepts, 2 pointers. एक है concept clarity और second है question solving. And both are very important. Do not underestimate the importance of one for the other. I know students who are so good at concepts, who are really like, they are better than me, honestly, but they lack in question solving, and that is why they have not cracked their exam. Okay. And I know so many people who just focus on question solving, but they have not worked on their concept clarity, इसलिए वहीं पे fail हो जाता है सब कुछ. And the beauty of NET-JRF is कि वो लोग आपके concept clarity test करेंगे. Let me give you an example. Everybody knows there are 2 components of superego. Okay, there is conscience and ego ideal. अगर सेट एग्जाम है या इवन एमफिल एग्जाम्स है, बाय द वे एमफिल में बहुत फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. द सेकंड क्वेश्चन दैट आई हैव रिटन, हु रोट बियॉन्ड फ्रीडम एंड डिग्निटी, इट इज फ्रॉम इबहास एमफिल. सो ये सेट में तुमको फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन पूछ लेंगे, बट नेट में दे विल गिव यू अ केस स्टडी और दे विल आस्क यू कि फॉर एग्जांपल अ चाइल्ड इज लर्निंग दैट अ चाइल्ड इज पनिश्ड फॉर डूइंग अ पर्टिकुलर एक्ट. Now, this has led to the development of ego ideal or conscience. And the beauty or the threat or the evil side of NET is कि उनका है ना सब options इतने similar रहेंगे that you will be like, okay, all of them are making sense. That is the problem. That is why you have to focus on question solving. Okay, because they will not just ask you a concept. You know what is motivation. I'm pretty sure every single person here knows what is motivation. But the problem is with the options and developing that logic, developing that elimination method, developing those techniques कि मैं ये 4 में से most accurate कैसे choose करूँ. That comes with practice of question solving. Okay, that is why the second point of question solving is very, 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 very important. तो मैं ना ये वापस repeat करूँगी because I cannot I cannot help it because it is just so important. Concept clarity, question solving, concept clarity चाहिए. अगर आप सच में seriously नेट का प्रेप कर रहे हो तो अपने सामने ये दोनों लिख के रखो कि अगर आज फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैंने कंसेप्ट क्लैरिटी पे टाइम दिया एंड मेरे को टेम्प्ट हो रहा है कि यार चलो ना मैं पढ़ रही हूँ, मेरा मन कर रहा है, मैं ना और 2 घंटे यही कर लेती हूँ, क्वेश्चन सॉल्विंग कल करूंगी. डोंट डू दैट. Okay, don't ever do that. And if you are somebody who knows कि मेरे concepts clear है, फिर भी आप जाके बार बार अपने concepts पे ही focus कर रहे हो और question solving पे नहीं कर रहे हो, it is never ever gonna work. So please remember both are the key. तो आप अगर अभी notes निकाल रहे हो तो आप इन दोनों words को लिखो, उनको box करो, उनको star mark करो, because as I said, they are the key to everything. Okay. So you need to get into their shoes and you need to understand what they are expecting. Okay, they are expecting concept clarity from you. अगर हमने ये clear कर दिया है तो हमारा beginning point क्या होगा कि हमारे concepts clear है या नहीं. Concept clear करने के लिए you never start with the most difficult book. Okay, you do not start with synopsis of psychiatry to understand psychopathology. You will start with the most basic Barron, Ciccarelli, or then you will go to Sarson and Sarson. Okay, so हमको basic book से आगे जाना है because उनका focus concept clarity पे है. उनको ये वो आपको ये कभी नहीं पूछेंगे कि PTSD के 5 diagnostics क्या है criteria. They will always ask you something which is application based. They will never ever ask you कि भाई factor analysis में क्या 3 types के rotation है. Very rarely they will ask you this. What they will be focused on is कि ये particular research में इस तरीके से rotation किया गया तो ये कौन से type का rotation है. So are you getting it? It's not about rote learning. So if you are into that, it is never ever going to work. You have to understand every single thing that you are reading. चाहिए तो 70% पढ़ो, चाहिए तो 10 में से 6 चीजें पढ़ो, अगर 10 के 10 नहीं हो रही है, बट जो भी पढ़ो वो कंसेप्ट क्लैरिटी बेस्ड पढ़ो. ओके, दिस डज नॉट मीन कि बाकी के 4 को हम बाजू में छोड़ दे, बट द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज गेट इनटू देयर शूज. So there's one more thing that I want to share here. So I have seen many students who go into perfection. Okay, कि नहीं यार ये particular topic ना मुझे इतना perfectly आना चाहिए कि इस पे कोई भी सवाल अगर आया तो I should be able to solve it. Again, ये मोह माया है. That is never ever possible. दुनिया का कोई भी इंसान पूरा नेट का पेपर एक गो में सॉल्व नहीं कर सकता unless they are Albert Einstein or somebody like that, और फ्रॉइड वगैरह तो है नहीं अभी. But the point I'm trying to make is it's okay to be imperfect. The point is कि हमको हर सब्जेक्ट हॉरिजॉन्टली एंड वर्टिकली दोनों साइड से कवर करना है. तो बस वर्टिकल पे मत फोकस करना कि अच्छा नहीं मुझे इन डेप्थ जाना है, इन डेप्थ जाना है. इन डेप्थ जाने के चक्कर में अगर आप 10 में से सिर्फ 4 टॉपिक्स कर रहे हो तो it is not going to work. Okay, so it is important that whatever, so I know I'm speaking in paradox here. It is important that whatever you do, you have understood it. You're not going into rote learning, but at the same time, do not invest too much time or too much energy only in one topic. Okay, make sure that you are also having a horizontal learning. I hope everybody is clear about what is horizontal and vertical learning. Vertical is when you go in depth, and horizontal is when your focus is on covering a lot of area of studies. Let's go ahead. So what will be our study strategy? Point number 1, basic से start करना है. तो आपका जो भी first book है, Ciccarelli है, Barron and Barron है, whatever book Morgan and King है, जो भी book आपने आपके bachelor's में use किया है, or the first book that you were introduced to, use that. Okay, so start with that book. At the same time, question solving. Ciccarelli में questions होते हैं, start with that. Second आएगा PG level. तो ये बड़ा important factor है. You know, there are many people who get their masters done and sadly then come later and they're like, नहीं मैंने masters में ना ये ऊपर पढ़ा था, exam के लिए पढ़ा था, so I will have to start from scratch. And I find it very sad and disappointing because then you are going to require more time to study. Okay, अगर आप आपके masters में हो right now, if you are somebody who has not yet finished their masters, then please make sure that whatever you are reading, whatever subjects you are covering right now, you do not just cover them for the sake of your papers, because वो papers इतने important नहीं है जितना वो जो content learning है वो तुमको आगे काम आने वाला है. Okay, so बेसिक तुम्हारा सिकारेली का बुक होने के बाद टेक आउट योर नोट्स ऑफ बैचलर्स एंड मास्टर्स फॉर ऑल द सब्जेक्ट्स फ्रॉम सोशल टू आरएम टू स्टैट्स. जहां पर जो सब्जेक्ट्स में लग रहा है कि ये सब्जेक्ट्स में बेसिक से मतलब आई नो दिस, इफ आई रीड इट एंड इफ आई जस्ट गो थ्रू इट आई विल गेट इट, गो फॉर इट. एनी सब्जेक्ट दैट यू फील नहीं यार यहाँ पे मुझे एक्सटर्नल हेल्प लग रही है, इमीडिएटली गो फॉर द एक्सटर्नल हेल्प, स्पेशली आरएम स्टैट्स. ओके, सो पीजी लेवल एंड देन if you are somebody who is like यार मैं तो हरमाइनी ग्रेंजर हूँ, ओके, मेरा बेसिक भी हो गया, मेरा पीजी लेवल भी हो गया, मेरा क्वेश्चन सॉल्विंग भी अप टू द मार्क चल रहा है, मेरा बस ऐसा ऐसा थोड़ा सा छूट रहा है, ओके, then you go to the higher level, because then you are not aiming for the net, you are aiming for that extra 2-3% by which you are losing out on your JRF. Okay, and if you notice at every stage, question solving, question solving, question solving, that is a must. Okay, okay, then let's go ahead. I think this is very very obvious. Syllabus नहीं समझोगे तो पढ़ोगे कैसे? Syllabus is not for you to study only that much. Okay, I will cover up all the questions in the chat box, guys. Just let me just first cover up all the details, okay? And I'll also take up all the additional questions. So, let me just cover this point and listen carefully. आपको syllabus के हिसाब से नहीं पढ़ना है. आपको पढ़ने के बाद syllabus में जाना है, and you have to see if you have covered everything. And this is very important. अगर आप syllabus देख के पढ़ोगे और you go for those classes, you know, many times students have come to me and told me कि मैम आप नेट के लिए classes क्यों नहीं लेते? So I always take up guidance workshops, the how to study, what to study, you know, how much to study, what are the strategies, what are the techniques, because I genuinely believe it is stupid to just study according to that syllabus. It is not gonna get you anywhere. You have to sit and figure out कि पहले मेरे concepts clear हो रहे हैं या नहीं. Then I go into the syllabus. Then I see कि अच्छा इसमें ये वाली चीज मैंने की है, ये वाली चीज रह गई है. How do I cover it up? It is the other way around. Not from syllabus to learning, from learning to syllabus. Syllabus is your framework. Syllabus is for assessment. Syllabus is for evaluation कि मैं कहाँ पहुंची हूँ या पहुंचा हूँ. It is not to decide कि इतना पढ़ना है. Okay, and when I take up my net workshops, this is what we focus on कि हर pointer में कौन सी चीज पे कितना focus करना है, कौन सी चीज कहाँ से पढ़नी है, कौन सी चीज में कितना time invest करना है. It is very important to understand the selection process. अगर आपको ये समझ में आ गया कि ये टॉपिक का ये पॉइंटर ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है और इस पे 2 घंटे देने हैं instead of the other topic, you have won the game. Okay, because it's all about smart study. It is not about just hard work. It is also about smart study and filtering out and selecting कि किसमें कितना time हमको invest करना है. That is how you win the war. This is a war. Okay, handling different pressures. तो अगर आपको कहीं भी ये लगता है कि नहीं नहीं मेरा पर्सनल और प्रोफेशनल और मेरे सब बाउंड्रीज बहुत क्लियर है और मेरे पर्सनल में कितने भी मेरे दिमाग में टैब्स होने दो, मैं तो ये करके रहूंगी. तुम ना इंसान हो. ये एवेंजर्स और सुपरमैन और सुपर वुमेन ये बस सीरीज और मूवीज में होता है. रियल लाइफ में आप एक इंसान हो, आप फैलिबल हो, और अगर आपके पर्सनल लाइफ में कुछ हो रहा है तो उसका इम्पैक्ट आपके प्रोफेशनल और एकेडमिक लाइफ पे होगा. पहले ये जानो, समझो, एक्सेप्ट करो और उस पे काम करो. ओके, डू नॉट बी इनटू द जोन. हाँ, आई नो दैट आई हैव बीन थ्रू समथिंग, आई नीड टू वर्क ऑन इट, बट आई वोंट गो इनटू इट राइट नाउ. आई विल डील विथ इट आफ्टर माय एग्जाम. I'm going to genuinely share a story with you. I know of a very very brilliant kid, kid as in a student. All my students are my kids. So I know of a very brilliant kid who got stuck into that exam period. वो 3 घंटे में she got lost, okay, and she could not perform even though she was one of the best. She is one of the best students I know because of the personal pressures. And that is not her fault. The problem is that we need to work on them. So do not ever underestimate the fact of or the importance of working on your personal life, reducing the tabs, working on these pressures and resolving them. Take therapy if you need. You are going to be a psychologist, and let's start from yourself. कि मुझे क्या problems है? मुझे performance anxiety है, मुझे एग्जाम एंजाइटी है, मुझे पढ़ाई के टाइम सेल्फ डाउट बहुत आ रहा है, सेल्फ एफिकेसी बहुत आ रहा है, मुझे लगता नहीं है कि मैं ये कर पाऊंगी, मुझे कितना भी हो, मुझ में प्रोकास्टिनेशन है. व्हाटएवर इट इज, वर्क ऑन इट. डू नॉट एवर थिंक कि नहीं नहीं मैं एग्जाम कर लेती हूँ, एग्जाम ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है ना, तो लेट मी गेट द एग्जाम डन, देन आई विल वर्क ऑन इट. It is going to seep into your exam. Remember that. Okay. Okay. So this is what the presentation is talking about. If you just have hard work, right, it's not going to be enough. Okay. Success is going to come only if your mental strength, hard work, and its physical capacity, guys. Physical capacity, all three of them go together. Then there is a higher chance of success. Okay. So अगर आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं मैं ना आज मुझे बहुत पढ़ाई है, so let me just focus on my studies and let me not take out any time for myself, or let me not take out any time to chill. I will study the entire night and then I will go and give my paper. You have lost there itself, because the one of the most basic principles of biology, of psychology is कि आप अगर पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम से काम नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो आपका बेस्ट नहीं आ पाएगा. और आप पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम से कब काम कर पाओगे? जब आपने चिल होने के लिए, रिलैक्स होने के लिए कुछ टाइम लिया है. So do not ever underestimate the importance of taking breathers and not studying before the exam. I know 99% of the people are like, oh my god, exam 2 minute में, oh my god, RM का ये formula, इसका ये formula, उसका वो. My god, you are using up the energy that you have to keep and store so that you can use it later in the exam hall. Okay, please remember that. Okay, so before I go ahead, now I will take up questions. So let's get into it. How many attempts are there for JRF? Abhi to bhi, right now, there is no limit as such. Okay, there is an age limit though. Ki, if you're above 30, so sorry guys who are above 30, wo change hote rehta hai. For women, it is different. So you should also check for that. As much as I know, for women, it was around 33. So age limit JRF के लिए है, attempt limit नहीं है. Give it sooner, ASAP, because अभी बता रही हूँ निगेटिव मार्किंग आने वाला है. ओके, और भगवान की कृपा से उसके पहले एग्जाम क्रैक कर लो. नेट JRF में निगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं है अभी. ओके, बट इट इज गोना कम सून. सो क्रैक द एग्जाम बिफोर इट कम्स, because then it would get more difficult. Of course, the cutoff will go down, but still. Yes, Sushila. So I am coming to that in a while. Yes, Pratik. So technically, though, you are eligible. The problem is not with the eligibility. The problem is with knowledge. Do you have that much knowledge? And if you don't, then you need to start from basics. I have so many students who start from learning their subjects and then going ahead. So you need to ask yourself कि कौन सा subject कितने level को आता है, किसके लिए additional help, tutoring की जरूरत है, and then go into it. The problem is not the eligibility, dear. Okay. Will clearing NET add any advantage with MPhil admissions? Once again, तुम interview hall में बैठे हुए हो, okay? और अगर आपका NET cracked है, तो that is another proof and evidence that you have reached somewhere, okay? और अगर JRF है, तो some MPhil institutes also have seats for JRF, okay? Right now, I'm not exactly sure which one, मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है, but there are some which have. And third of all, MPhil in itself is a very tumultuous path and a difficult journey. उसमें अगर आपके लिए sustenance का कोई हो सकता है path, तो फिर it is always better, right? So NET can also give you that. So अभी तक कोई final नहीं है NET का negative marking आएगा ऐसे, but I'm telling you from how the university system is working that in the next 5-6 years I am definitely expecting that NET marking will come. Because if you notice, अब cut off 68% के आगे जाने लगा है JRF का, काफी आगे जाने लगा है. So because it is going much ahead, there is going to come a point where they will want to reduce the cutoff. And what is the best way to reduce the cutoff? Introduce negative marking. क्योंकि एक level के बाद आप paper को भी difficult नहीं कर सकते. Is it mandatory to pursue PhD even after? I have cleared my NET-JRF and I did not go for PhD because I wasn't ready for it. So no, it is not necessary that you have to go for JRF के बाद PhD करना ही है. See, JRF के अपने benefits है और अपने pros and cons है. आप depend करता है आप पे कि वो pro क्या है और con क्या है. So for me, JRF was good, but JRF का एक condition है that everyone should know. if you take up the JRF, you cannot work along with that. So then you only have to pursue PhD, and your only income is going to be that particular stipend which you get. So depends on you, depends on where you are in your life and what are your requirements, right? And then you can decide how to go for it. But obviously, it's a feather, okay, that you add into your cap, and that is a feather that nobody else can take away from you. So something that you should think about. Yes, anybody else has any other question that they want me to take up right now? Bolo, Simran.
Ma'am, so I gave my NET exam for the December 2022, okay, and I couldn't clear the exam. So now I have this question that when should I appear next? Because I know that I wasn't well prepared for the exam. So should I appear for it in June or in December?
That would depend on where you are in your studies. So whenever I'm working with anyone in academic counseling, or whenever I take up the workshop, the first thing that I ask my students to do is to take up a paper and solve it. Okay.
Okay.
If you solving the paper, or if you get an idea of where you are, हम बोलते हैं ना कि हम कितने पानी में हैं, हमको पहले ये तो पता चले कि हम कहाँ हैं, तो हमारा कितना आगे जाना है वो वाला डिसाइड होगा पाथ. सो फर्स्ट इवैल्यूएट वेयर यू आर. I cannot give you a direct answer because I do not know where you are, Simran. Okay, so you will have to go into your preparation, into your score, find out where you are, and then prepare accordingly. Okay, कि अच्छा ठीक है, मुझे समझ में आया कि मेरे बेसिक्स में ही दिक्कत है, मुझे कुछ एक्सटर्नल हेल्प भी लगने वाली है फॉर सम सब्जेक्ट्स, देन आई डेफिनेटली गो फॉर पोस्ट 6 months. मेरा और एक सजेशन है, इफ यू नो नेट जेआरएफ के अटेम्प्ट्स में कोई लिमिट नहीं है. अगर लिमिट नहीं है तो देते रहो ना एग्जाम, बिकॉज इफ यू कीप ऑन गिविंग, आप उस मोड में रहते हो, जोन में रहते हो, और प्रैक्टिस इज ऑलवेज बेटर. More practice of that exam hall, more practice of handling that exam anxiety. You get to know something new about yourself in every attempt that you give. Okay?
Right. Okay, yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Welcome. Okay. Meera, I would suggest that आप एक बार ऑनलाइन जाके चेक करो कि एग्जैक्ट एज लिमिट क्या है. एज मच एज आई नो, फॉर वुमेन इट इज अराउंड 32 to 33, बट आई वुड स्टिल सजेस्ट टू गो एंड चेक. अबाउ 30 है ये 100%. Okay. Yes. So Pooja has answered your question. With SRF also one cannot work. See, the point is not that you cannot work as a teacher or something if you are doing your PhD. Okay, पहले तो clear कर लो, JRF और PhD सेम नहीं है. आप PhD कर रहे हो तो आप काम कर सकते हो, आपने JRF थ्रू PhD किया है तो भी आप काम कर सकते हो. बट द पॉइंट इज, अगर आप JRF थ्रू PhD कर रहे हो तो आपको आपके काम का एडिशनल पैसा नहीं मिलने वाला है. दैट इज द ओनली मनी यू विल गेट. ओके, यू आर नॉट अलाउड टू टेक एनी अदर सैलरी अपार्ट फ्रॉम योर फेलोशिप. अब लोग बहुत कुछ करते हैं, बट अगर किसी को पता चल गया, अगर गवर्नमेंट का ये आ गया, तो उनकी PhD भी हाथ से जाएगी और बहुत सारे कांड भी होंगे, which is like a risk I would never ever suggest to take up. Previous question papers, just go online. You can find them on NTA website directly. The website is quite good as compared to the previous UGC one, so you can definitely go into it. Okay, so these are some questions that I had just put up, so you get an idea of the type of questions you are asked. So आपको पता है, नेट वाले आपको पूछेंगे कि ऑलपोर्ट ने पर्सनालिटी को किस तरीके से डिफाइन किया है. एंड अगेन दे विल नॉट आस्क यू कि पर्सनालिटी में ट्रेट थ्योरी किसने दी है. They are not interested in the fact if you know who is the author of what. They are interested in the fact कि आपको थ्योरी समझ में आई है या नहीं. ओके, उसके बाद biological psychology. Okay, so biopsychology is important not just for NET, it is also very important for MPhil, guys. Please make a note of it. Again, see, अब यहाँ पे देखोगे ना आप, sympathetic nervous system पूरी दुनिया को पता है. The point is कि आपको उसके सब जो सिम्टम्स है सब क्लियर है क्या कि सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम किस तरीके से काम करती है. सो यू डोंट नीड टू लर्न कि ओके एसएनएस के नीचे ये होता है, एएनएस के नीचे ये होता है, पीएनएस के नीचे ये होता है. that is not going to help you. What you have to understand कि SNS मतलब क्या है, कि हमारी बॉडी ओवरड्राइव में जा रही है, हमारी बॉडी फाइट और फ्लाइट मोड में जा रही है. अब इस टाइम पे प्यूपिल्स का डायलेशन एक्सपेक्टेड है, राइट, बिकॉज वी नीड मोर विजन. डिक्रीज एक्टिविटी ऑफ एड्रिनल ग्लैंड डेफिनेटली एक्सपेक्टेड. डाइजेशन स्टिमुलेट क्यों होगा भाई? अभी अगर मेरे सामने टाइगर खड़ा है तो सुसु जाने के लिए मेरे पास ना टाइम है ना स्पेस है, तो मेरा डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम डाउन होगा, है ना. So I know that C is definitely not going to be the option. And you know the beauty of this question, the moment I eliminate C, I don't have to waste time on DE, क्योंकि मेरा आंसर थर्ड हो जाता है. And I want you to observe what I did here. I was okay with being imperfect with the fact कि मुझे पांचों options मैंने देखे भी नहीं है, मैंने बस C वाला eliminate कर दिया and I'm ready to go ahead. So ना questions को personally please मत लेना. So this might sound a little weird, but I have seen many students for whom every question is like a personal affirmation that I know psychology. So they are so much keen and so much focused on solving every question अच्छे से that they forget कि मुझे answer already मिल गया है and there is nobody here that I need to prove myself to. So being secure in who you are and what psychology means to you is also very important. Again, so this is a very simple question. Okay, there's just a case study given and उसमें उन्होंने techniques दिया हुआ है, so you can just even go through it. Just take a minute. So guys, for people who don't know, we have our own Institute of Psychological Studies and we offer online classes in different subjects from biopsychology, RM, statistics, developmental psychology to every subject that you can think of. We have a lot of diploma and certificate courses as well. So if you would like to get our brochure, if you would like to know more about our courses, which the speciality is that they are online, you can attend from anywhere, and they are in the timings that do not impact your work. They will be either in the evening post 6 p.m. or in the morning before 9:30 a.m. So if you are interested, you can just fill in our inquiry form. Pooja, can you put up the DIBS inquiry form in the link? Thank you. Coming back to the question. So I hope everybody understood. A very simple question. कोई मुझे बता सकता है इसका आंसर क्या है? Just curious. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, गलत आंसर चलेगा. Shashin, you don't get to answer. You have answered this before. Yes, definitely. Okay, cool. Again, just another type of question. Wanted you guys to have some exposure to the type of questions we get. So another type. Don't go into solving right now. आपको PPT मिलेगी. आप बाद में you can go through it, and if you want to solve, you can. The point is to just get the gist of it. Okay, so for those who are interested, we are coming up with a NET-JRF guidance workshop. This is going to be a workshop of 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday 6 to 8, 8:30 p.m. Content cover करना important है. Saturday 6 to 8, 8:30 p.m. and Sunday 4 to 6 p.m. Okay, it is happening on 5th, 6th, 7th of May. और द नेक्स्ट वीकेंड डिपेंडिंग ऑन द स्टूडेंट्स. अगर आप 15 अप्रैल के पहले बुक करते हो सीट तो आपके लिए फीस ज्यादा डिस्काउंट के साथ है और उसके बाद फीस 4,000 रुपीज है. दिस इज व्हाट ऑल विल बी कवरिंग. सो सुशीला हैड आस्क्ड अबाउट बुक्स. सो when I take up the guidance workshop, this is what I go into. We will be covering each and every pointer of paper 1, paper 2. ओके, पेपर 1 का हर पॉइंटर, उसमें क्या पढ़ना है, कितना पढ़ना है, किस तरीके से पढ़ना है, क्या टैक्टिक्स है उसको याद रखने के, और किस में नहीं जाना है. द फिल्टरिंग आउट प्रोसेस, एज आई सेड, सिलेक्टिंग व्हाट टू डू एंड व्हाट नॉट टू डू, that is important. You will be getting to know the books that you should study from, what to study in what quantity. You will also be getting some quizzes, relevant pointers to study from home. And as I have told you before, it is important to focus on the skill set, mental health skill set that is required. So we'll be dealing with handling pressures, making a real timetable, question solving techniques, what to do in those particular 3 hours, how to handle your anxiety, how to work on yourself, how to handle self-doubt, self-efficacy, how to multitask, should you or should you not work while you're preparing, how much time will it take to prepare. and anything else that comes up. So we are taking up this workshop. Pooja will share the link, the PDF link. Okay, so you can just download it and go through the entire module of what we are planning. It is happening in first or second week of May. Okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have kept the timings in the evening, so you can, make time post your work. And if you take admission before 15th April, the fees is 3,000 rupees. If you take post that, the fees is 4,000 rupees. And if you have any questions, I'm here, I'm listening, and you can ask. Okay. So anybody has any questions for me? कि मैंने 1 घंटे में सबके सब सवाल क्लियर कर दिया. I don't think I'm that good. So anybody has any questions that they want to ask, anything that you feel is not covered yet? Yes, bolo Kushal.
So could you share your experience of how every time you went to the examination hall and what you learn every time? Like you appeared thrice, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious.
The first time I gave this exam, so I was a kind of Hermione Granger of my class. I was good. I studied my masters very well, and because that was the case, तो मैंने जब पहली बार एग्जाम दिया मैं बहुत prepared नहीं थी. मैंने दिया एग्जाम अपने मास्टर्स की पढ़ाई पे, and I lost JRF by 1 mark. और वो बहुत चुभा, मतलब बहुत गंदा चुभा. मतलब तब तक नेट JRF वाज जस्ट समथिंग, हाँ चलो देखते हैं देख के, बट फिर वो जो चुभा वो चुभाई. एंड देन आई वाज लाइक अब तो क्लियर करना ही है. The second time I gave the exam, I was working. So while working, managing that was very difficult, and I studied, but I could not give my best to study. So it was a very disheartening experience. And third time, I was like, ab to karke rehna hai. It really helped me that I was also preparing for UPSC. So the first paper was my strength, and I had solved around 10,000 questions by the time I gave third attempt. So that helped. Thank you. Okay, somebody else has other question. Okay, so see, the question of how many months it takes to prepare well for NET, it will depend on where you are. ये किसी और ने भी पूछा था. अगर मैं बोलूं कि आप बेसिक से स्टार्ट कर रहे हो, you have done nothing at all. Okay, you have not done your masters well. आपको बेसिक्स भी अच्छे आपके क्लियर नहीं है, आप वहां से स्टार्ट कर रहे हो, तो 6 months of hard preparation. Okay, लेट्स से कि आपका लेवल 1 क्लियर है, आपके बेसिक्स क्लियर है, आपको आपका मास्टर्स रिवाइज करना है, मास्टर्स के सब्जेक्ट्स रिवाइज करने हैं, और मास्टर्स के एक सब्जेक्ट्स में कुछ सब्जेक्ट्स है जो क्लियर नहीं है. अगेन 6 months. लेट्स से कि आपके सब सब्जेक्ट्स के क्लासेस हो चुके हैं, आपका सब कंसेप्ट क्लैरिटी है, और आपको बस अभी नेट के पर्सपेक्टिव से उस सब्जेक्ट को देखना है. ओनली दैट मच इज रिमेनिंग. Then even 3 months would be enough. And let's say you are somebody who is giving the exam from 2-3 months. Okay, and if you are somebody who has been giving exam again and again, 2-3 times ho gaya, तो फिर तो आपको बस आप you come for our guidance workshop and then you do like 1 month of intensive Q&A. There is a high probability that you will crack it. Okay, the JRF stipend is limited to for PhD students or extended to MPhil students. If you are using up your JRF, then you get the stipend. फिर वो MPhil के लिए हो या PhD के लिए हो. Very few MPhil colleges or universities rather or hospitals have seats for JRF, but whoever does, वहाँ पे वो JRF का money use होगा. So MPhil हो या PhD, you will get the stipend if you're using your JRF. Okay. Okay, cool. Anybody else has any other question at all? Anything else that they want to ask? Anything about the workshop that you want to ask? Yes, Meera.
Ma'am, if someone like I am working full time, so like उसमें आप क्या बोलोगे? Like I am so clueless कि कैसे time निकालूं, पढ़ाई कैसे करूं? So अगर I don't know if you were also full time working or not, आप क्या बोलोगे? कुछ मतलब आपने कैसे time निकाला, कैसे पढ़ाई की?
There are 2 things here. मेरा personal experience है, but I would rather teach you the strategy which will work for you. And mera genuine suggestion, if you want an answer to that, come for this. Okay, because that is what we work on. Okay, how do you make time? How do you decide what would be the right study strategy for you? If you are working, if you're not working, I have always felt that working gave me an edge or a confidence. Okay, but that is me. I have also known people जिनके लिए that did not work and they had to give up everything, okay, and they had to focus on themselves. So that is why if you come for this, you'll get an in-depth idea of what, how, and आप कहाँ हो, है ना? Then we can talk about this individually कि आपको कहाँ से शुरू करना है, आपके लिए क्या better होगा to crack the exam. Okay.
Ma'am, I have one more doubt. Like, I'm somebody who is also interested in doing MPhil.
Yes.
So, like, नेट एंड एमफिल का प्रिपरेशन जो है वो एक जैसे ही करना पड़ेगा कि एमफिल के लिए आपने बोला फैक्ट्स ज्यादा आता है एंड नेट में एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड होता है, तो दोनों का प्रिपरेशन एक साथ हुआ कि कुछ मतलब अलग से करना पड़ेगा?
There are some subjects which are important for both the exams, right? फिर वो आपका RM stats हो, बायोसाइकोलॉजी हो, पैथोलॉजी उतना नेट में नहीं आता है बट एमफिल में काफी आता है. आपका बेसिक मोटिवेशन, इमोशन, कॉग्निटिव, सो ये आपके सिमिलर सब्जेक्ट्स है, उनके लिए आप साथ में प्रेप कर सकते हो. ओके. एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू क्वेश्चन सॉल्विंग, ऑलवेज जो भी एग्जाम आप दे रहे हो, मतलब नेक्स्ट एक महीने में सो क्वेश्चन सॉल्विंग के लिए भी टेक्निक होता है कि पहले आप किस टाइप के क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर रहे हो, एग्जाम के जस्ट पहले किस टाइप के सॉल्व कर रहे हो. तो वॉट एवर एग्जाम यू आर गिविंग, उसके जस्ट पहले यू विल स्टार्ट विथ दैट 1 month, you will start with those focused questions. So you can do the prep together, but your question solving will change depending on which exam is coming up. And as I said, you can begin with the topics which are common, the subjects which are common, get them done and then go ahead. To simply put, social and developmental are not something that are very important for NET. I'll be honest, okay? But for MPhil developmental तो यार काफी, मतलब मैंने जितना देखा है काफी आता है. So depends. Okay? Yeah. Anybody else has any other questions that you want to ask? ओके, तो एक तो मैंने सबके सवाल बहुत क्लियर कर दिए हैं या फिर आप बोर हो चुके हो. विच ऑफ द अबाउ इज इट? ओके, मैंने पहले भी बोला था, देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन विच इज सिली. सो इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन प्लीज आस्क. Okay then. So assuming that you have no questions and assuming you have also understood about the workshop and hoping to see many of you there, let's go ahead. What is the key to everything? The key to everything is being passionate about it. अगर आप में वो कीड़ा है कि मुझे तो ये करना ही है, by hook or crook as in कि मेरे साथ hook or crook, not doing something illegal, by I want to do it anyway and anyhow, as long as you have that passion, we can make it work. But पहले खुद को पूछो कि वो पैशन है या नहीं, और अगर आपको लगता है कि आप में वो पैशन नहीं है, कि आपको ये नहीं करना है, then take a pause, let that passion develop first. Because if you jump in too soon, okay, if you jump in without having that passion, it is like वो half hearted effort हो जाता है. फिर लगता है कि अरे नहीं यार मुझसे हुआ नहीं क्योंकि I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough. But most of the times that is never ever true. It is all about you being passionate about it, you being ready to give what it takes and ready to invest your time, money, and your mental health into this particular project of NET-JRF. Okay. So think about it, and we will be sending you the PDF. You can also go through our website, you can go through our Instagram, you can go through our DIPS brochure if you're interested in any subject. The brochure is shared on the chat box, the inquiry form is shared. If you want to take admission to NET-JRF guidance workshop, and if you're sure about it, take it before 15th April and you can book your seat at a affordable price. Okay, after 15th of April, once our first 10 seats are booked, then the fees would be 4,000 rupees. So think about it, and anything you need, I'm always here. On that note, if anybody wants to ask anything, I have my ears open and eyes as well. मीरा, तुमने हाथ वापस रेस किया है या वो गलती से हो गया है? ओके
मैम पहले
ओके, यस ओके. सो अभी ना एक ही मेरे लिए, यार मैंने अभी तुमको इतना सिखाया तो एक चीज मेरे लिए कर दो कि अपना कैमरा शुरू कर दो ताकि हम एक अच्छा फोटो ले सके. सो एवरीबडी टेक अ मिनट. आपको आपका कुछ भी, यार क्या लोग हैं, आधे लोग छोड़ के चले गए. वेरी बैड, दिस इज वेरी सैड. ओके, सो जस्ट आपको जो भी करना है बालों का कर लो. and then just start your video, please, so we can take a nice click. Shashin, you there now? Oh, hi, Niraja. Kya baat hai? Hi, I did not see you. It's nice to see you. Same here. Okay, many familiar faces. So let's just take a click. Pooja, are you taking a click? Batao.
Actually, I was waiting for Sachin, but I think he
Same
left.
here. I think Shashin left. He is like तुम्हारा हर बार का है कि मुझे ही बोलते हो क्लिक लेने के लिए. So let's take a click. Okay, so I hope everybody has taken down our information. अगर किसी को भी चाहिए, ये मेरा chat box में मैं WhatsApp number डाल रही हूँ. Please एरो के साथ मत share करना. This is my WhatsApp number, guys. I'm not available on a direct call. If anybody has any questions at all and they want to ask, you can just message me here and I will get back to you whenever I can. Please do not call because if I'm in sessions, it becomes a disturbing thing. Message karo. Okay, and I will get back to you. On that note, I hope you had a good time and we will send you the presentation, and if anything comes up, we are here hoping to see many of you in our workshop, and bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye. Pooja, just
Thank
wait.
you, ma'am.
Yes, bye-bye.
Yeah.